is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
All right, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Mid-Dale Sports Report on the Oklahoma Sports Network. My name is Jordan Ray. As you might be able to tell here, I'm doing No Shave November. Also, I voted. I don't know which one was more obvious, but anyway, this show brought to you by Tooney Buys Houses. We buy and renovate homes. We lease and own or finance homes throughout the state of Oklahoma. The phone number to call is 405-931-3046. And also, we're here at the Bricktown Brewery in Midwest City, so big thanks to them. Of course, come on Wednesdays where they have half price off for pizzas. Okay, we're going to actually change things up a bit and start with Del City football. Let's go ahead and show the standings after their victory, 34-14 at Claremore this past Friday. So now they have eliminated one of the teams from catching them, that being Claremore. And it's down to them and Pryor, and that is their opponent for this Friday. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. Happy to be joined, of course, as always, by Del City head coach Robert Jones. All right, Coach Jones, this was a game, and you talked about with Colton at the end of it, where there were some bumps on the road. You had to face some adversity, and you feel like that's good. That's going to be good for your team, right?
Yes, sir.
So some of the adversity in the first half, I think it's the first time you gave up any points on defense in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Second half, your quarterback got injured.
Yeah.
Let's start with the first half. What was some of the challenging things about Claremore on offense that maybe your defense hadn't seen yet in district play?
Well, I think it started with the physicality up front. I think our guys got bullied. I think they've been playing easier opponents, and they've been winning. And like I said previously, everybody's been patting them on the back. So they thought they could just show up with the Del City on their helmet. And I kind of had that feeling all week just in my gut that the kids weren't going to come out with the physicality, the energy that it takes to win a game like that. So, they fumbled initially. You could tell that they were nervous because they fumbled, and we got that possession, and we went up, thankful for that. But our kids just kind of played on their heels. They didn't play with the aggression and the effort that we preach with CDEP. And kudos to Claremore for having that energy. And I knew that would be like that because we ended their season last year. Those guys had all their aspirations to go to a state championship, and we took that away from them. So they just bullied us. They bullied us up front. They made some good play-action plays. We gave the quarterback way too much time to throw the ball, and Nick Holmes gave up a post route because he just wasn't being aggressive. So we played on our heels in the back end with the secondary, and our D-line did not play with the aggression and the tenacity that we look for on a consistent basis. So it was a good wake-up call for us. We need to be tested. We need to see if our young men can handle that adversity and be able to overcome it and get a win. Just like I told everybody was texting me and calling me like, what happened? And I'm saying what happened is we went on the road and got a 20-point victory on the number 5 team in the state. So I know everybody thinks we're the Kansas City Chiefs, but we're not. It's going to be some tough games, and we're not going to win every game by 50 or 60 points. I'm happy if we win 7-6, and I'm happy if we win 60-0. Regardless, is the win is on in the column, and that's all that matters.
Hey, the Chiefs win plenty of ugly games, as people know. So, what do you tell is that basically what you told your players at halftime, though?
Yeah.
And then they pitched a shutout in the second half. So, what did you see change on the defensive side?
Well, we turned the ball over, so we gave them a possession in the red zone. But historically, we have came up with those type of stops before, and our defense needs to bow up right there. They need to bow up and get those guys either could attempt a field goal or go 4 and out. As I was walking to the locker room, Claremore, as our team passed, they were hooping and hollering, yelling in my face. They were excited. They were ready to go. And I told them, I said, man, I feel like they're the team that's up by 6. I feel like they're the team that played for a state championship last year. I feel like they're the team that are saying, hey, we're the number 2 team in the state, and, hey, we're bullying you around. So I gave them some words to give them some motivation, and we're not going to back down from anybody. And I think our kids showed that in the second half, and they came out and played with the intensity and the tenacity that we look for as a Dale City Eagle. And defense just played lights out. They got a turnover for us. And we just played hard, and offensively we did what we needed to do. Cash got hurt, but the young freshman came in and he made some key throws. And Manny Davis made another spectacular catch. We had him on the show last week. He made another catch. It seems like he always makes those catches on 4th down in clutch time. He did it last week. The week previous to against Tahlequah. He made another great catch. And then Josiah Chester made some great catches. And then Jeremiah Miles and Blackwood did a great job. Our O-line got locked in, and they controlled the line of scrimmage like I thought they should. And our kids are going to know that we're going to be tested now. I think that was a wake-up call that we needed for this season, because that's the first time we've been tested since Edmond Memorial.
What can you say about Cash's injury? And real quick on that play, if I would ever be okay, I'm not speaking for you, but I would ever be okay with a personal foul penalty, I appreciated that Shane Thornton was trying to stick up for him.
Absolutely. On
that. And it just, so if you get a penalty, you get a penalty. But what can you say about anything about Cash's going forward?
Yeah, Cash is a tough kid. That was a hard experience for him, especially as a young player, to have to sit out in that magnitude of the game and not be able to play. I'm pretty sure he's going to play this week. If I had to bet my money on Cash, he's going to be on the field Friday night. Right. It's a district championship. We worked hard to get in this position. When we lost the first game against Edmond Memorial, everybody was like, what's wrong with Dale City? And we fought hard as a family to get us back in this position. He's been the leader for us offensively, and he's worked his tail off, and he's been growing each week. And if he's not out there, I'll be surprised. So I think he's going to be out there Friday. I'm pretty sure he'll be playing this Friday.
Okay, let's bring in these 2 guys. So we got, I think are they both returning? I know Tavon is returning.
Yeah, Tavon Johnson, he's been on the show before. He's a 3-year starter. Okay. He broke the sack career record at Dale City with 33.
Yes, sir.
He has 33 sacks. So he's been starting since his sophomore year. He's consistently made plays. He's been that mainstay defensive player that always is there. It's not flashy. It's an old-school style to it, like a more DeMarcus Lawrence type player, because he's good on the run, he's good on the pass, he's good on the screens. He's just an overall complete defensive end. And Dale City's had a lot of great players, a lot of great defensive ends, a lot of great defensive tackles. You think about David Stone, Jaden Foreman, Darius Hampton. I can go down the line just with me being here as the head coach. And for him to be the career sack leader, I think that kind of speaks for itself. And he's also a captain. He has great work ethic, so I'm proud that he's on our team, and I'm glad that he's leading us this Friday against Pryor. Then we had Jashawn Chatham. Chatham, did I pronounce that right? Cheatham. I always get his name wrong. So Jashawn Cheatham, he's a junior. He's up and coming. His brother Sherrod Davis played for us a few years back. Yeah, he was a great basketball player as well. Mm-hmm. JJ just plays with a motor. He has a lot of energy. He's physical. He's only a junior. Is this first real varsity playing time? I think the sky's the limit for him. I think if he can continue to grow and continue to gain weight and get in the weight room, I think he's going to be a collegiate football player. I think as we continue to progress in these playoffs, and even next week, I think everybody's going to see who he is and what he's been doing all year. I'm not surprised by what he's doing because I saw it last year. So I think moving forward, he's going to continue to be that player that we need in the middle. And then he's going to give us some extra depth on the offensive line that we need as we rotate players because they're starting to play more both ways as we progress towards the playoffs.
All right, Tavon, how many sacks did you have Friday night? Yeah.
I have 4.
4. Okay. Well, I knew Colton was interviewing you for a reason, but I lost track of them. Do you know in your mind, or do you have to be told you had 4 sacks? You keep track?
No, I don't keep track. They tell me after the game, I'm trying to get the dub.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And then you go by JJ?
Yeah, JJ.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And JJ, talk about your progression this season. How are you a better player now than you were even at this time last year?
I'm getting faster. I'm gaining some weight.
All right. And what's been a highlight for you so far? I don't know if you had I know your name was called in the Claremore game, but were there any other games where you had a particular play or two that you're really proud of?
Tulsa Memorial, I had a sack.
Okay.
And a couple of tackles for loss.
And both question for both of you, especially in that first half. Claremore, what made them maybe a step above what you've been playing against so far in district play?
They came out tough.
Yeah.
They came out more physical. They're a good team. So they're a playoff team. We'll see them in the playoffs probably.
Yep.
Did your defense have a different mentality out there in the second half? Was there anything different about your energy or how you were talking to each other, or what can you say about how you guys shut them out in the second half?
Yeah, we knew we had to come out more physical, but we gave them hope in the beginning, yelling at our coach at halftime and stuff. We wasn't going to let that slide. So
that set you off?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right, I like that. JJ, what do you think? How things got better for you guys in the second half?
To piggyback on what he said, he was yelling in our face. Our coach's face, and then we just had to go out there and ball.
Yep.
All right, and did you guys practice yesterday? Because there was no school at Middale.
No, we didn't practice. We had a couple kids that were affected by the storm. Even Taven, he got hit with some glass and he had to get 12 staples in his leg. Marshawn Graham's house was completely destroyed. So
really, okay,
yeah, and it was a threat of another tornado. I was like, hey, it's not worth it. Football is very exciting and it's a great game, but at some point in time, life has to take over. Decisions being made like that. And I told myself, like, if we're going to miss one practice and that's going to be the difference between us winning or losing against Pryor, then we probably weren't going to beat them anyway. So I have trust in this team. We have enough veterans. We have enough. We have a coaching staff that is professional and focused to detail. That day of rest can be a blessing. So we took a day off and we had a great practice today. We're looking forward to Pryor. We've been in these type of games before, and we're confident that we can come out with the win.
So, Tavon, how's your leg then?
That's all right. Just letting it heal a little bit.
How'd you practice today?
No, sir, I didn't practice today.
Oh, you didn't practice today? Okay.
Nope.
But I'll be out there Friday.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, it's senior night, so I know it's a big night for you. But definitely not your last home game, as you'll get at least one, and you're hoping for two in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Pryor. This is a matchup for the district title, basically. Even though Pryor has a loss, technically they would tie you, but they would get the tiebreaker if they win.
Yeah.
And they'll be a 2 seed if they lose, and you guys will be a 2 seed if you lose. So, and they're another team. You mentioned this about Claremore a couple times, how you ended their season. Well, you ended Pryor's season last year in the first round. So, what about this Pryor team? Obviously, they're better, I think, than they were last year because they were a 4 seed last year. This year, going to be a 2 seed at worst. So, what do you think about Pryor?
Well, even last year, you go back. I was watching some of the film from last year in the playoff game. They're just a physical team. Their head coach does a great job offensively. He mixes things up. He uses different motions and different formations to cause confusion. And that quarterback's a pretty good player. He has a good arm. He's very athletic, similar to Cash, but I think he's more mobile with his feet. So it's a great challenge for our defense offensively. Then defensively, they get after you. They bring pressure like us. They play tight coverage. So our receivers are going to have to beat some coverage one-on-one, and then our O-line's going to have to do a good job against the blitz game. So, and they're a well-rounded team, and their record shows it. Anytime you're playing in the championship game, both teams are equally good at that point, then we'll see at the final score. So we're looking at this thing as a true playoff game because it is. Our first goal was to win a district championship, and then we've gotten to that point. We won these seniors have won 2 district championships previously, and now they put themselves in another opportunity to play for a district championship at their home on senior night. That's what football is about. I want to coach in these type of games. I want them to be in these type of games. This is why we work out in the off season. This is why we work out in Summer Pride, to be in these type of games, and we're looking forward to it. And I think our C-Devil mentality is going to show up Friday night.
All right, Tavon, what do you think about Pryor?
I think they're a big physical team. We're going to have to bring our A game, come together.
JJ, what do you think about Pryor?
I think they got some physical alignment, and we're going to have to bring that swag.
Yep.
All right. Real quick, JJ, do you play any other sports?
No, sir.
Track and powerlifting. Don't ever forget that.
Powerlifting, that's definitely a good sport for a defensive tackle to play.
Yes, sir.
Tavon, I know basketball's waiting. They're probably really waiting for you right now, but you got business to take care of with the football team.
Sure.
What about college? Have you looked at any colleges?
Langston.
There you go.
UCO.
Yeah, it's picking up for him. With the transfer portal and things like that, it doesn't pick up to this time of the year. I spoke to several schools about him today. Northeastern State, NEO. It's going to be a lot of suitors. Anytime you break the career sack record at Dell City and you've been starting at Dell City for 3 years with the caliber of athletes we have, you're going to put yourself in a position to go get your school paid for.
Absolutely. All right, well, guys, I can't tell you how big of a game we have coming up on the Oklahoma Sports Network for Dell City, because it is a game for the district title. Who wants the 1 seed who can then host 2 playoff games instead of having to go on the road in round 2? Dell City versus Pryor. So on the Oklahoma Sports Network, of course, with John Kilty and Colton Fleetwood bringing you that game. It's also going to be senior night. Again, Dell City will have at least 1 playoff game the next week, but they're hoping for 2. And again, so this will be a very, very massive game, like Coach Jones says. All right, guys, thank you very much. We really appreciate you being out here, and good luck for the game against Pryor.
All right, thank you.
All right, Midwest City football coming up right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Here to contest the new Whataburger from Whataburger.
What?
Real wings have bones. And these boneless wings are actually premium chicken tender bites tossed in one of Whataburger's famous sauces. Honey butter, honey barbecue, buffalo, or
Sweet and spicy.
and now Nashville hot? Those do not turn these Whata wings into real wings. I know what a real wing is. That snow.
State Representative Max Wolfley.
As a longtime Mid-Dell teacher, coach, and parent, I first ran for the legislature to ensure taxpayer dollars appropriated for education actually made it all the way to the classroom. That concern hasn't changed and seems even more important today. Thank you for giving me the privilege of serving the people of our district.
Max Wolfley, looking out for educators, seniors, veterans, and all of us. Recorded in our kitchen after midnight. Can you tell?
Experience the best wash in town at Tommy's Express. You'll love our open and bright tunnels, easy loading flat belt conveyor, unlimited membership, and free vacuums and mat washers. Experience the difference and visit Tommy's Express today.
All right, welcome back to the Mid-Dell Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network, brought to you by Toonie Buys Houses, right here at the Bricktown Brewery in Midwest City. Time to talk Midwest City Bomber football. Let's go ahead and look at the district standings there. And they are now in a tie with Bishop McGuinness. Midwest City owns the head-to-head tiebreaker, but if there's a 3-way tie with Lawton MacArthur, that could spell problems as far as getting a higher seed. And then, of course, Duncan comes in right behind Midwest City, and that's their matchup this coming Friday. So a lot of different scenarios for the Bombers. And I get to talk to their defensive line coach, John Mitchell. All right, Coach, I know I asked you these questions last year, but how many years have you been at Midwest City High School?
This is my 11th year.
11th year. And I know, how have things been different, or is it pretty much routine for you guys now, for those of you that have been here for a while?
That's a good question. In some ways it is routine, but each year brings a different set of challenges and just new circumstances, because while some kids are the same, but in essence they're not the same, because you get a different group each year.
Right.
But, I mean, as far as continuity, I mean, except for a couple of additions, the coaching staff has been intact for the last few years. So, I mean, but football, especially at this level, the high school level, it's constant change.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so.
And I know, I mean, they talk transfer portal in high school. I don't know if that's a real thing in high school. It's a real thing in college, I know.
Yeah.
But obviously sometimes you will have player movement that you may not expect. You may get some, you may lose some.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real thing.
Okay.
You have that window during that time period, during that summer. I want to say you have, if I'm not mistaken, July 1st through July 15th to make your move. And with that being said, I mean, it's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you have kids. I mean, naturally, kids want to go play for. I mean, I'm not going to slight any coach's that's in this profession. They want to play for a certain program, want to win, or they want to go somewhere where they can get more exposure, a better opportunity to enhance their post high school chances of continuing to play this game.
Yeah, for sure. This year, with your defensive line, now Coach Wall also coaches the defensive line, and how do you guys divvy up your?
Well, before when we were running a 4-man front, he would take the interiors, the nose, and the defensive tackles. I would take the 2 ends. This year, we've made a transition. We went to a 3-man front.
Right.
So, but we both at times he'll take the interior, which is the nose guards, and I'll take the 2 edge guys, the ends. But we work collectively together. I mean, we throw each other, we bounce ideas off each other. And Coach Wall is a great resource for information. Yes. I mean, his eyes have seen a lot of football, and especially with the defensive line play. And we just we rib each other a lot, but we have a good working relationship where we can just, because sometimes we get to the point we just instinctively know what one another's going to do, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And so so when we talk about the defensive line, I know they have this Viper position, but that's kind of a hybrid linebacker. That's more of the Coach Cade's deciding who plays there. Yeah,
that's it. In essence, it just depends schematically where he wants to put him at times, because in the past he's been a part of the secondary, and at times he's been a box player, been a part of the defensive line.
I get Viper confused with Spinner.
Well, the Spinner is, it depends on, like, when we ran a 4-man front, that Spinner was the weak side defensive end. And now when we went to the 3-man front, the Spinner was that additional backer. Right. So it just schematically and who we're playing depends on where he wants to. I mean, and Coach K does a great job with what we're trying to do. His thing is not making the kids fit the scheme, but the scheme fit the kids, if that makes sense.
It definitely does. So on the defensive line, we'll start. The nose guards have been rotating in, I believe, Brody Maddox and Jarrell Chambray.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have a definite set of group of starters, because in some instances we rotate. We do our best to play a lot of guys, to keep a lot of guys fresh. And some of our guys are also start on the offensive line. So sometimes that dictates who we will start the game out with. Because if we get the ball offensively, 2 or 3 of the guys that would start defensively are on the O-line, so we'd have to bring in another group, and vice versa. So we play a lot of guys. We don't have a definite set of starters.
Okay. And amongst the guys playing on the defensive tackles, you mentioned the guys who are also on the O-line. That would be the Jones twins. Mm-hmm. Do they mostly play at tackle?
They would, honestly, they help at all 3 positions.
Okay.
They're great leaders. They're tenacious, and they have a never say die attitude. All of our kids have that attitude, but they really exemplify it, and they will play any and every position to do whatever it takes to win games.
I think it was DeMonte, number 70.
DeMonte is 70, yes.
He was definitely making plays against Class and SAS. It's the most I've noticed him on the D-line. Mm-hmm. And but again, because they play on offense, I know it's kind of you have to be careful how much you play them.
Yeah.
So take someone like Deshaun Grisby. Mm-hmm. So he's listed, at least in the depth chart, as a starting defensive end. And then against Bishop McGinnis, he gets a number change because he's going to play running back. What does that kind of do? How do you change? Does that change any how you coach him or how many snaps you have him in?
Well, it can affect game reps.
Right.
Because we try to be conscious. Now, we always go to the kid and ask them, how are you? They'll say, I'm good. Yes. And we want to give them the benefit of the doubt or trust them. But then also in that particular instance, that game, he played quite a bit of offense. And when we needed him, he gave us defensive snaps. Towards the end, a couple of those offensive guys who were starters or who are mainstays on the O-line, we put them in on that last series.
Yes.
And against Bishop McGuinness, and I mean, because when it's time to play, it's time to play.
Yeah. Well, how have you seen Jashawn Grisby develop as a player these last couple of years?
I mean, he's made leaps and bounds. When we first was getting him in the rotation his sophomore year, he wasn't there yet.
Right.
I mean, just physically. Because the motor has always been there. It was just physically. But as he I ain't gonna say grew into his body, he just got stronger and more football, more weights, more strengthening, conditioning, and more of that. He's basically where he's at now because he's one of the guys that goes. He's 150 mile per hour guy every rep. Mm-hmm. Every rep, offensively, defensively, he goes. Every rep is like the last rep with him. Right,
and for sure. And then, I mean, your nose guards. I know they've developed here. The two I mentioned, Jarrell and Brody. And I mean, do they have different strengths, or do they both basically do the same thing for you that keeps them out there?
In essence, and sometimes they do the same, but they have their own individual skill sets. Mm-hmm. Chambray, he's one of our more stronger guys on the team, but he also, with his stature, he can be one of our quickest.
Yes.
Brody has come a long way as well. Both of them have come a long way. Brody can handle more of double teams than what at times than what Jarrell can, but the way they play and the way they go after it, both make them valuable assets on the defensive line. And you speak of Brody over these last few weeks, Brody has really, they all stepped it up a notch, but Brody's really stepped it up a notch because he took it up on himself to help out offensively.
Yeah.
And before that was not even mentioned or not even discussed, but he came with that. He asked could he do that because he saw that his brothers in arms, which is his teammates, were needing help there, and he stepped up and asked, "Can I?" I said, "Well, you need to go talk to the OC and the O-line coaches," and they said, "Hey, if he's willing to learn it," and he's taken that up on himself to learn it and expound on his role.
Yeah, he's playing more on that 31 package as a lead blocker, mm-hmm. So it's been interesting to see. And then
went out for a pass last week.
Yeah, that's right.
But the kid from Classen made a good play. Yeah, he did, and he looked good. But the kid from Classen made a good play on the ball. So,
and when it comes to the Jones twins, I know one's a little bit bigger. Mm-hmm. I think it's Demarion.
Demarion, he's nicknamed Big Jones, and mm-hmm. DeMonte is Lil Jones.
And do they play to their size as far as what their strengths are on the defensive line?
They do. They always play above and beyond. They'll give you all they got.
Yeah.
There's no shortchanging, no nothing.
Yeah.
So that's one of the appreciative qualities that I enjoy about those two. Now they're typical teenagers. They can get on your nerves like any teenagers can, but that's one of a wonderful quality that they have. They all share it. These seniors and majority of the good portion of the kids all share that quality.
Absolutely. And then one non-senior who I like on defensive line is Christian Chudy.
Yes.
And I'd like him more as a defensive lineman, but if he didn't have to play running back as much as he does. So he's another one you have to kind of balance things out. But mm-hmm. he seems like he's already showing he's got a lot of potential.
Yes, he does. He came in, hit, and since he's arrived, hit the ground running, 100 miles an hour. Does whatever you ask him to do. doesn't mind working hard and is willing to go that extra mile to help us win ball games.
Okay. And is there any defensive lineman I haven't brought up yet that deserves some recognition? I think I may have gotten them all, but there may be one or two I haven't thought of yet.
I think all of them, pretty much all of them have. I mean, we play so many guys.
Yeah.
One I always care to mention is Reeves, AJ Reeves.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not the biggest guy as far as weight wise, but I tell him, I said, man, your quality, one thing that keeps you playing is because you go 100 miles an hour, you throw your body around. We got that term, you throw your body around. Mm-hmm. You play hard, and especially with our position, if you continuously play hard, good things will happen.
Absolutely. So let's look at this game against Duncan now. I know you're the associate head coach as well. I think you'd like maybe take care of some administrative things. I'm curious, in last year when you guys played Elgin in the last game of the regular season, and it was important to keep track of the Lod MacArthur score. And that, I don't know, was anyone doing that, or was any particular coach doing that? Because I think you had to stay within a certain distance from Elgin to secure that 2 seed. Does that anything ring a bell there?
Yeah, it was the scoring, and then not just that, and then what was El Reno doing, because we had dropped the home district game to El Reno as well, but with them losing, and like I said, with us scoring and us controlling our end, we were able to secure the 2 seed.
Yes.
I mean, so basically, kind of similar scenario this year. This is a playoff week, because now we're fighting for playoff positioning just as much as they are. Basically the loser of this game turns it in next Monday.
Right. Well, but there is a possibility that if McGinnis loses again, it could be a 3-way tie, and
it could be. You
don't want that though, but I'm just saying that.
Yeah. I could be wrong. I want to make sure I'm right on this. So basically, with us beating Bishop, and if Bishop drops another one, we should be the number 3.
Yes.
I think
beat Duncan,
because we got to beat Duncan. Now we have to control what we control, which is going out playing hard and taking on a very game Duncan team. Yeah. People may look at, well, we beat them the last 2 years. Each year is different story. This year is a definitely different story, because they know if they come in and play and win, they're in.
Yeah.
So we have to be prepared for a team that's going to be hungry and wants to get into the playoffs, wants an additional week of football. So we have to come with the right mindset and be prepared to take on and face and win a game against a team that's going to be hungry, wanting a playoff spot.
Yes, for sure. And I'll be paying attention to the Lod MacArthur game, but you don't want to think about that too much. But that's going to be that's part of the interesting theater of the last week of the regular season. Mm-hmm. You kind of are depending a bit on other teams to put you in the best possible position. Mm-hmm. So some of that will be going on. But then when it comes to Duncan, that's who you got to focus on. I've heard good things about their quarterback. What have you seen about them? I know you've had a chance to think about it now for 2 weeks with that bye. What do you think about the Demons?
They are a solid ball club, much improved from last year. The quarterback he's the definite leader, and he's a playmaker. He could be a problem if we don't go in doing what we're supposed to do. If we don't go in playing our assignments and playing sound football, he could be a problem.
Yeah.
And great player. From what he's shown, it seems like he's just gotten better as he's progressed over the year, not just this year, but from last year as well. So if we don't go in with the right mindset and go in ready to go down there and treat this as a business trip, he could win the game for him.
Yeah. And how weird was it to not have a game this past Friday, a Week 9 bye? It's very out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I mean, but it's nothing new. We went through this before.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I know
been
you did
a while.
2020 because there was some cancellations.
Yeah, there you go. So it's just how you have to be smart about practice. We can't. I mean, we want to keep the intensity, but we got to be smart about it. We have to. I mean, we don't want to get nobody hurt. I mean, because right now everybody's hurt. Everybody's sore. Everybody's banged up because it's the nature of the game and where you're at in the season. We just have to be smart about it. Make sure we fine tune some things and just because we can only work on who we are.
Yeah.
Now we can work on the game plan and it gives us an extra week to fine tune things, but only thing we can do is just get better. And that's what we spent last week doing, is getting better and working on the, as they say, making your weaknesses your strengths and making your strengths a top priority.
And yesterday was unusual because it was a early morning school cancellation.
Yeah.
Was there any practice for you guys, or?
Yeah, we were able to get some things done.
Okay.
I mean, fortunately, it was fortunate enough circumstances, and the people that are well above my pay grade came together and basically made some decisions and deemed it that it was safe and permissible for us to get out there to get some things done.
Okay. Well, guys, just to let you know, coming up this Friday, Midwest City will be back in action, and they have not clinched a playoff spot yet, so they still have some work to do for that. They need to beat Duncan, and with a Lawton MacArthur victory over Bishop McGuinness and a victory over Duncan from Midwest City, they could climb up to a 3 seed and go to perhaps whoever wins the game between Guthrie and Lawton High. So there's a few games on the Oklahoma Sports Network to pay attention to. But for the Midwest City game, myself and Tom Carpenter will have the game for you at Duncan, and it'll be senior night for the Demons. So they have a chance at a playoff spot too if they win. So we could expect a very hostile crowd with the Demon faithful being there. So looking forward to it, Coach. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. And again, coverage for the Midwest City game starts at 6:30, kickoff around 7, so you won't want to miss that. All right, coming up next, Carl Albert football right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Have you ever seen an insurance commercial and ask yourself, are they really telling me the truth? Well, guess what? They're not.
Somebody runs a red light, and you think all of a sudden their insurance company's going to be all neighborly about it? Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of keeping your money.
So remember, save our number in your phone so when tragedy strikes.
Call Rob and Will.
College is more than just going to class. College is a journey. It's meeting new people and making new friendships that will last a lifetime. It's learning from professors who care about you and your success. And finding out it can be really fun and rewarding. It's discovering that thing you want to do for the rest of your life. Cameron University is all about helping you grow and succeed. Because your success is our success.
Whataburger's new Bacon Blaze Jalapeno Double.
Sounds like a 5-alarm fire.
Not really, Frank. The jalapeno cream cheese, jalapeno ranch, and pickled jalapenos give it a pleasant heat.
So like a 4-alarm?
Nope. It's a delicious controlled blaze.
Like a little kitty stuck in a tree alarm.
Nah, hotter than that. Let's say the 2.5 alarm Bacon Blaze Jalapeno Double. I think the pole's broken.
New Whataburger Bacon Blaze.
just a little hot.
All right, welcome back to the Middale Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network. On Friday, Carl Albert clinched the number 1 seed for their district. They basically clinched the district title with a victory over Guthrie. Let's look at the standings real quick. This is in 5A District 2. And yes, Guthrie could still tie Carl Albert technically, but Carl Albert would obviously have the tiebreaker, so they are the number 1 seed from 5A District 2 for the 8th straight year. Altus is their opponent. And I got a chance to talk once again earlier today with Carl Albert head coach Mike Dunn about the Altus game, about his seniors, about the Guthrie game this past Friday, and more. And here's my interview. All right, happy again to be joined by Carl Albert head coach Mike Dunn. Coach, first question, interestingly enough, yesterday, no school that day. I assume even though there was some rough weather early on, you guys still got to practice in?
Yeah, we did. We brought the kids up. It looked like, we were staying in touch with what the National Weather Service was saying out of Norman, and Andy Collier and his team over there did a great job of giving us the updates that they were getting. And we looked at it and looked like by 3 o'clock it was all going to be kind of moved out. And so we brought the kids up at 3, had our meetings and had practice, and got to do it under the lights a little bit over at the stadium, and rained on us a little bit, but we definitely got a good start on Altus, so it was good practice.
Yeah, my rain Friday, so not a bad way to practice with that in mind.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about Guthrie game. So by winning that game, you basically clinched the district, even though there's still a possibility of a tie. But I always thought it really means something to win your district if you're the 1 seed and you got a chance of 2 home games.
Right.
And in that regard, that's something that Carl Albert's had now for 8 straight years, and all 4 years since you've been there. I know it's not the ultimate goal, but what does that mean to you when you hear that?
A lot of pride in that. It's not. Sometimes I feel sorry. I don't feel sorry for our kids, but there's a lot of places where district championships are really big deals, and it's hard to do. And we fully understand that, and we fully realize that. And as coaches, we're proud of those championships. It's just, our kids have bought into something bigger, and our kids, they don't talk about it. I haven't heard one kid say anything about it. After the game, we didn't even talk about it as a team, a staff. We didn't even talk about that. It's just something that we don't really, we talk a lot about getting the 2 home playoff games, like you said. But it's a really cool thing to be a part of it, and those wins, they mean a lot to the big picture. And so when you're fortunate enough to do that and do it 8 times in a row, that's a big deal, especially with 5A2. I think it's very, very strong argument that it was the strongest 5A district for a long, long time, and so doing it with teams in the past like McGinnis, Piedmont, Guthrie, Lawton Ike was really good a couple of those years. And it was a dogfight every single week. Southeast, probably the best team they ever had 2 or 3 years ago there. And so it's a big deal to go out and win district championships. And our kids, they've definitely earned that and earned the right to call themselves district champions.
All right, when we look into the Guthrie game, now you did tell me the week before against Lawton High, in that first half there was maybe some defensive breakdowns that you wanted to get better, and then against Guthrie you get a shutout, and they never really got close to scoring. Can you talk about the improvement as far as all the responsibilities your defensive team has from the Lawton game to the Guthrie game?
Yeah. So first off, really, really proud of our defense and the effort that they played with on Friday night. You could tell that they were locked in, dialed in from the very first snap. Our communication was off the chart, was great. Our adjustments, I don't think we had one single alignment issue all night long. And they do a lot of good stuff. Guthrie's got really good run schemes, and they've ran the ball on everybody they played against this year and ran it very effectively. You know, I think they had 10 possessions the other night. I think we 3-and-outed them on 8 of them. We had an interception on another one, and then one where they moved the ball a little bit, had a couple of first downs. We got a takeaway. Carl Vion Young forced a fumble, and we got a good takeaway on that. But so, you know, defense, we talked this weekend about who our players of the game would be, and it was a way easy decision to make it all 11. Our whole defensive unit was our player of the week for defense, and guys just played lights out.
Offensively, a couple things I want to ask about. One is you're playing Elijah Matthews at running back more and more. How has he earned that, and how you feel like he's doing? And then was it part of the game plan to run the read option with Devin more? Because I'm sure you've done that this season, but it felt like you were doing that a lot in the Guthrie game.
Yeah, so, you know, we're always going to be a team that's going to try to take what the defense gives us, and Coach Jay felt really good about that in game with some of the things that they were doing defensively that we thought that would be a good scheme there for us to run against them. You know, we did some of that last year against them as well, and that's something that we've always got on at Carl Albert. We've got a little bit of option on, and we've got outside zone on, and so that's always something that we have in our back pocket if we want it and need it. And Devin ran the ball really, really well the other night and got us some big first downs, kept the chains moving, and so that's something that we've done. Devin has probably scored 4 or 5 touchdowns this year on option, outside option. And so, and Elijah he's always been a guy that we have been very excited about. And, you know, Elijah does some amazing things on Monday nights in our JV games. And he's a guy that has steadily gotten better and better and better. You know, early on, his pass protection was a little bit shaky. He just had to learn the pass protections, and then he had to go do it physically. And he has gotten really, really, really sound and really good with his pass pro and his physicality. If you've watched Elijah Matthews run the ball before, you know he can run the ball. He is a very talented running back, and he can do anything out of the backfield. He could be one of our best receivers in the future. Really, the sky is the limit with Elijah, and so he's definitely earned that. Coach Cam has put him in our spread package as our kind of our spread back, and Elijah's doing a really good job for us.
And then I talk to you about this guy every week, but I got to bring him up again. Caden Davis. Now he has a touchdown pass in his list of things he's done. And my question is, it was such a short pass, but I couldn't quite tell. Was he really left-handed, or did he just kind of wing it because he was on the left side?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to keep that for guessing for
okay.
People are scouting us. But no, he's a way talented kid. You know, he probably could. He is left-handed, but I've watched him throw the ball with his right hand before as well. And the kid is just it doesn't matter what he does. You know, he's going to do it well. You know, and if we asked him to go throw a ball right-handed, and that's the only way he could, he would figure it out and he'd probably get it done. But no, you know, you and I have talked about it before. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's a guy that can do a lot of different things for us. And, you know, he had 15 tackles the other night in the touchdown pass. I think he had just 1 carry, which was a big first down for us. And, you know, Caden is a special talent. He's also a special leader, student of the game. He's a coach on the field. You know, all right, we're counting down. There's a lot of last coming up these next, you know, hopefully 6 weeks. But, you know, he'll be one of those ones that we're going to really love. We love having him. We're going to celebrate him, and we're going to do all those things and cherish all these time we have together. But when he's gone, boy, it'll be a sad day around Carl Albert for a little while, because he is the epitome of a Carl Albert Titan, and he's obviously makes us a lot better.
And speaking of them, I saw that against in the OU game against Maine, Xavier Robinson got some playing time. Have you been keeping up with him any?
Yeah, oh yeah, we all still talk with Big X quite a bit. You know, we're all way proud of that guy. You know, he has fought his tail off, and he has stayed consistent. You know, we're sitting in here on Sunday, and Coach Murray DeMarco Murray called Coach Cam, and he just wanted to tell him, you know, how appreciative he was of everything that we tried to instill in Xavier, and and how proud they are and how happy they are with his progression there. And, he said the other day after that game, he just moved up 2 spots. This are his words. He just moved up a couple spots on the depth chart. And, Xavier has put himself in a great position with the way he's worked. I mean, his body has completely changed. He's 225 pounds right now. He played his senior year at 240. I mean, he's leaned up. He was already fast even when he weighed 240, and he's gotten quicker. He's faster. He knows the scheme. And one thing Coach Murray and those guys talk about is how consistent he's been in the classroom too. He's making all A's and B's, and he brings that to us. Last time I saw him, he came to a game a few weeks ago, and the first thing he showed me on the sideline was his grades. And so he's just big time human being, big time kid, doing great things. And Ben Harris, another former Carl Albert Titan, he had a big game this weekend at North Alabama.
Okay,
I think he threw a touchdown and he caught a touchdown pass. So, we got guys all over the country that are doing big things and representing Carl Albert the right way.
I remember that name, yeah, for sure. Okay, well, you mentioned celebrating Caden, of course, senior night against Altus. I'll ask you about Altus in a second here, but this group of seniors, I mean, I know there's a lot of good things you can say about them, but I'll start with this. As far, and it's not the most important thing, but as far as just talent goes, this has to rank up as highly as any Carl Albert senior class, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would have to. I don't know that there's ever – I mean, as long as I've been following Carl Albert football, which is probably from 1995 and on, I mean, I don't know that there's ever been this amount of highly recruited kids. Everybody knows about the 3 guys that are committed to OU. Everybody knows about Caden Davis. He hasn't got the big Division I offers yet, but I fully think that those are still coming. But now you've got a Carl Vion Young who picks up an Oklahoma State offer. You got Daniel Newton who's got he's committed to the Air Force Academy. We've got Cody Volker who's got offers from a couple of different schools. You just kind of go down the list. Christian Oku is starting to get recruited. Byron Stubbs is starting to get recruited. DeAndre Dukes has offers from a couple of schools. And so, I mean, there's a chance that we're going to have, 10 guys that are going to sign to go play collegiate football. And that's when you got 18 seniors, that's a really special deal. And I didn't even mention Maddox Wilkerson. Maddox is going to have an opportunity to go play college football if he wants to. And so, I mean, there's a legitimate chance that there's 11, 12 guys out of 18 that get to go play college football, which is a really special deal.
Yeah, and then the Todd James, I believe, is
Big Todd. Yeah, yep. Todd's going to have a chance to go play college football. He's got his stuff is all starting to heat up as well.
Yeah.
These guys, it's crazy. I'd have to have my roster out to go straight down the list of our seniors.
Right.
But I mean, there's guys that are. We had a coach in just a while ago from Southwestern, and he's bringing up all those guys. He talked about Todd. He talked about Byron Christian. He wanted to talk to Cody Volker about deep snapping, and Maddox Wilkerson about playing D-line. So it's a big deal.
I'll give you one more name. He's going to be hard to replace, of course. Ethan Spiewak.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So
how do you forget about Ethan Spiewak? Yeah, and Ethan's going to go play college football. Obviously, he's got some offers already, and there's some big schools that are really close on him as well, pulling the trigger that can see not only is he a great player, but he's also just a great person, and he's one of those guys that you get him in there, you're going to be able to develop him for 5 years, and he's going to always do everything 100% right. And so he's kind of an interesting guy for coaches because they know all the intangibles.
Yeah, so just Alan, and I know those guys all work hard and they're really good kids. So what a group they'll be celebrating. But and I also know that even when you guys clinch the district, you still go for the win that final day. And against Altus, this is an interesting team because I know they brought their coach back that they won a state title with in 2015, Jeremy Reed, I believe is his name. And he's definitely made a difference there in his second year back. And they've been scoring points. They scored points against Guthrie. They had an unbelievable win at Lawton High. So their offense has caught fire. So just talk about the challenges that you see with Altus.
Yeah, so unconventional, I think, is what the first word that comes to mind. Both sides of the ball, defensively, they're very unique in what they do. A lot of movement, a lot of different looks. It's hard to get a beat on them, really. and they play really, really hard. They fly around, and then offensively, they're at one play you're like, man, that's old school football right there, and just power football. But then the next play, they're back there, and they can be an empty, or they can be in the go-go look, which is kind of a new offense that people are running, UNLV's offense, and they can give you option one play. You can get full-on spread, like Tony Franklin looking pass concepts, and so it's just kind of hard to get a beat on them on that side as well, And so Coach Reed is as good a coach as there is in Oklahoma. Won a state championship in Altus back in 2015. And then he went over to Arkansas for a little bit, and then came back, coached at UConn for a little while, and now he's back at Altus. And Coach Reed has done a heck of a job. I think this is one of those teams where the record does not paint the picture. I mean, Coach Reed would be the first one to tell you that he probably dropped a couple there that they really probably should have won, and just came up short. We're a little snake bit, and they're a really good football team. And, you talk to Coach Beebe over at Guthrie, he said that that's the best team that they had seen. Just the overall look. They got really big linemen. They've got 3 or 4 skill guys that could play for anybody. And they've got a quarterback that's really, really talented, and he's a big kid. So it's going to be a really big challenge. We got to make sure that the distractions and just that the focus is still on the main thing, which that's winning the game, even though we've got lots of stuff going on Friday. But it'll be great. Our kids, we always make a big deal of senior night, talking to the younger guys about the legacy that these seniors are leaving. And, the way that they can help create that legacy is by sending them out the right way and going out and being 5-0 to finish the season.
All right, Coach. Well, once again, appreciate your time and have fun on senior night.
Awesome. Appreciate you.
All right. All right. I want to thank again Coach Dunn for his time earlier today. And remember that Carl Albert and their extremely talented senior class will have senior night on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Tune in at 6:30 again for the coverage. Kirk Norman and Mike Goff will be back. Coach Goff will be back from his trip to Europe. Guess what? He's also going to come on the show in a couple weeks, he told me, so I can't wait to talk to him about Carl Albert football. Anyway, Carl Albert's game against Altus, an interesting opponent. Kickoff will be at 7 o'clock. They already have the 1 seed wrapped up, but they're going to take this game seriously anyway, even though their playoff seeding has already been determined. And then the playoffs after that for the Titans as they look to three-peat again. They've done that a couple other times. All right, coming up after the break, we talk Midwest City Wrestling right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
If you've lived in Oklahoma long enough, you'll know that we get extreme weather. With that extreme weather comes hail damage to your roof and an insurance claim. When that happens, there's not a better company to deal with on your insurance claim than Cantrell Roofing and Construction. Since 1987, Cantrell Roofing and Construction has proven to be the best in the business, and always remember, got hail? Call Cantrell. Call them at 405-642-8558.
All right, welcome back to the Midday Coach Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network. We're continuing to preview the upcoming winter sports. So we're starting with wrestling. So last week we talked Del City Wrestling. This week we're going to talk Midwest City Wrestling with their head coach, Robert Walker. All right, Coach, I'm glad to be talking to you here. This is your 3rd year as the head coach, correct?
Yeah, it is.
And I assume you're getting more and more comfortable in the position. I mean, how do you feel as far as comfort level now compared to even last year?
Definitely probably fitting more into a groove this year. Got a big group and a good group of seniors. So it's not, challenging this year as it has, first year, just because, like I said, I'm fitting into my groove more, and also, just kind of like letting things fall into place. You know, we got a good team and everybody's, you know, coming back. We got some good freshmen, you know, coming up. So this year, just looking forward to the wrestlers making my job easy, you know, and, you know, they do what they came to do, and, you know, I can just sit back and watch and, you know, take the credit for it.
What was the off season like? Well, I mean, I don't know when exactly you get to do the off season. I assume June mostly, and
yeah.
And did you make any trips or anything like that?
So for wrestling, you know, you have the state tournament, you know, last week of February, first weekend of March, and then you have a little time off. Spring break hits. Right after spring break, we jump into our summer style season, which is a freestyle season, freestyle and Greco. So we wrestled that all the way through May. End of May, took some kids to Southern Plain Regionals in Mulvane, Kansas, and got, you know, some up and coming kids. I got a freshman who qualified for Kids Nationals there, and so, you know, that was at the end of June, and then I referee also in the summer for wrestling, so got to do that. And, you know, I think you know, just reffing alone, I hit maybe 10 different states this summer. Wow. You know, got to do some reffing and a little bit of coaching. So it in that, having some wrestlers doing summer pride with football, so I had that going, and, you know, so we got stronger over the summer doing that, and then also just did some open room settings where guys can come in and some of the girls can come in and just, you know, learn more complex stuff, you know, just you know, perfect their craft. And so I'm really looking forward to it this year, and you know, seeing what the product is when we go out on the mat.
Okay, so you say you went to Kansas. You took some wrestlers to Kansas.
Yeah.
I never heard of this town in Kansas. Is it close by a metro area, or is it kind of on its own? Or
yeah, so literally when you hit 35 north, stay on 35 north for 2 hours, and it's exit 33. It's probably about 20 minutes just south of Wichita.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that something you did in the past? Is this your first time? And what made you go there?
Yeah, so I've done it before. You know, my brother, he wrestled at Southern Plains whenever he was in high school. I never wrestled in the tournament, but my brother, he wrestled there. So it's always been around. I've always known about it. You know, it's a qualifier for kids that want to go to Fargo, which is, you know, the biggest high school tournament in the country. So I went last year, and then, you know, we went again this year, and so just took more kids this year. So just to get the experience and get their feet wet in a regional freestyle setting. Something that most of them have never seen before. So it was good. You know, I went there with no expectations as a coach just because we've never been in that setting before. So, you know, it's kind of hard to expect them to, you know, do super well at something that they've never done before, and it's completely foreign to them. So, but, you know, like I said, got some qualified for Kids Nationals that wrestled, and, you know, they're hungry and ready to, you know, hit the scene.
I've talked to the Del City coach, Coach Shawver, about going to taking some people in North Dakota. It's just weird that I don't know. It's kind of feels like a random place for the big wrestling deal of all places, North Dakota.
Yeah,
but hey, that's where it's at, and that's where it's at. So. Interesting, you also said that you traveled around to referee different wrestling matches. Does that give you some good perspective? Or do you take things as like, hey, there's some things I can learn from this as a coach? Or
yeah, definitely. So I got into reffing actually from Del City Coach Shawver. Shout out to Coach Shawver, that's my guy. But he got me into it, and you get to see it from a referee's perspective. So whenever I'm wearing my coach's hat, I'm like, okay, he probably saw it this way. I get a better understanding, you know. And then in a referee's perspective, I can see things how coaches would see it and can explain it to them in that way. So, you know, it's good to be a coach and a ref just because you get to see both sides of it, you know, so you understand both sides, you know. So it's, you know, whenever a call is made, you know, you're like, okay, you know, don't blow up, don't get, you know, upset and frustrated by it, you know, just try to see it from a different perspective. So that definitely helps out in that way. So it's I like doing it because, like I said, it gives me that understanding.
All right, and you brought one of your wrestlers with you. Who do we have?
Yeah, so this is one of my senior wrestlers. He's also a team captain, Noah Hayden. So he wrestled 157 for us last year. He'll probably wrestle 157 for us again this year. Like I said, he's a senior. I think I have 16 seniors this year in wrestling. And that's a good and a bad problem to have. So
okay, yeah, definitely a good problem. Noah, welcome to the show. Did you come on last year when we were at Buffalo Wild Wings by any chance?
Yeah, I came on one time.
Okay, good. All right, so talk about your off season. Did you go? What did wrestling look like for you? Did you go anywhere to hone your craft?
For me, I didn't really do a whole lot of traveling and stuff. I was more in the gym, and I was working, so I didn't really have a lot of chances to travel to different states with them. But I was still in the gym every day trying to get a little bit stronger. And
yeah, I always like – go ahead and finish that thought.
Sorry, just more prepared for the season.
Yeah, and I'm always interested in talking to wrestlers about all that goes into maintaining their weight, especially if they move up or down a weight class. But you're staying in the same weight class apparently. Do you stay at that weight usually throughout the year, 157, or do you even worry about that in the off season?
Yeah, I usually sit about 165 just naturally. I wanted to gain a little bit more weight over the off season, but I didn't end up happening. So I have to cut down a little bit, but it's not too much. I have the fat to lose to get down.
Oh, don't worry. Do not hesitate to order something here, even though you're trying to lose weight. They do. It's on the house for the coaches and players. Okay, but yeah, I can imagine that would be challenging. So you say you wanted to get stronger, though. How do you feel like you did? Was this through lifting weights, or was it more of just doing stuff on the mat, or what?
I was more in the gym, just lifting weights, trying to get in there daily. I feel like I definitely improved. I feel a lot stronger on the mat than I did last year after cutting a lot of weight. I feel like I brought my muscle a little bit back up.
Okay, so, Coach, no one could probably tell us by looking at me, but I would say that one of my hobbies is weightlifting. Okay, no one could tell by looking at me. I am curious, for wrestling, are there particular movements that are recommended?
So we, for wrestling, I mean, just the deadlifting, explosive lifts, compact full body lifts, dynamic lifts, stuff like that.
Box squats, maybe?
Yeah, that'll help. But wrestling, with the stamina that you need for the sport and the endurance that you need, like CrossFit training, it kind of goes hand in hand because they still do a lot of explosive stuff, and I go to CrossFit Complete.
I used to.
Yeah.
We used to go to the same gym for a bit, and then I guess you may have taken my spot at CrossFit Complete.
Yeah.
Because that's where I came from to Tin Gym anyway. I decided to just change it up. I'd been doing CrossFit for quite a while. I still love it, and I know Zach's helped you guys out. So he's a really good guy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Noah, did that kind of describe what you were doing?
Yeah, that's a little bit of what I was doing, just trying to work on more explosiveness, like he said, and just getting that power to, move properly.
All right, so what do you want to get better at as a wrestler? You kind of mentioned the stronger part. Is there anything else you're working on as far as technique or something to that effect?
There, I'm really trying to work on my movement, just getting down, how I want to set up, my shots, and defensively, making sure nobody can get down to my legs, making sure I get my hips down. Just working on things like that, making sure I can move properly to help myself.
And how's your stamina? Do you feel like you're in the best shape of your life?
I'm doing a lot better than we were at the start of the season.
Okay, that's usually the change you want, because you've been doing this for a month now, practicing after school, right? On October 1st. Coach, any football players that you might be looking to bring in when football's over with?
Yeah. So I have some of my senior guys, Aiden Brown.
Of course.
Yeah, he's a returning state qualifier for me. Great football player, great kid overall. Aiden Tollison. You know, he
JT?
Yeah, he was one match away from qualifying for state last year. Jarrell Chambray, he helped us out quite a bit last year.
Now he's really good at powerlifting too.
Yeah,
and he's not very tall, so I imagine that's a good combination for a wrestler.
Yeah, he's like I mean, watching him wrestle, it's like, you know, you see this guy walk out on the mat, and he's just explosive and powerful, and it's really good watching him wrestle. So, and then Gabe Young, he's another guy that helped us out a lot.
Played some linebacker.
Yeah, so he's come in. I got some freshman guys that are already out there with us, and then, you know, some more guys that are in football right now. They've said, "Oh, Coach, I'm going to come out and wrestle." And so whenever the football's over, you know, hopefully their season's prolonged. But we'll see if they make it out there.
I hope they do. I remember watching a video by NFL Films interviewing all these different NFL stars of past and present, and them talking about how valuable wrestling was for their football career. Ray Lewis was like the headline guy too. It was like that's pretty impressive list. The Dallas Cowboy defensive stud. I can't remember his name. Also,
Michael Parsons.
Parsons.
Yeah,
he said he wrestled. So.
Yeah, Ray Lewis was he was a 2-time state champ in Florida.
I don't. Doesn't surprise me at all to find that out, but it's still pretty cool. Noah, do you have anyone in particular you like to spar with? Are you waiting on someone from football to spar with it, or do you got someone now?
My usual buddy is Jarrell. Me and him usually are practice partners, but right now I have our 144-pounder Jordan. I usually get after it with him. You know, whenever we start really getting into it, we can get moving around, and it's pretty good work.
I imagine Jarrell will make you stronger if you
He's tough to wrestle.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Coach, so, and on the girls' side,
yes,
I saw Megan.
Yes.
Remind me of her last name.
Aaron.
Megan Aaron. So she was selling stuff for wrestling. She came by my classroom. So, but it reminded me of her. I should have mentioned to her, like, can you come? I know she probably works, and so she does a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But she's probably your headline wrestler on the girls' side, right?
Yeah. She's, you know, returning state qualifier. She's had, you know, some college coaches reach out to me about her, and you know, she's been talking to some college coaches. So she, I mean, she's the first state qualifier. She's the first girl state qualifier in Midwest City wrestling history. And then this year she has a chance to be the first girl state placer. You know, and you know, the only thing that holds Megan back is Megan. So, and she knows that. So, this year, you know, Saturday at the tournament, we were at Edmond North. She took third, and but she already knew, you know, the stuff that she did wrong and stuff so she's already in a better mindset. And you know, I have a few other girls, Tavanique Roberts, she's another senior, you know, that can help us out. And then I have 2 freshman girls, Jacqueline Guzman and Jordan Lloyd, who will help us out. And then another girl, she's a junior, Adrian Holscher. So have a few more than last year. Hoping, you know, we're still trying to recruit and get more girls out, you know.
I was going to ask how the numbers look. So
yeah, so we're just trying to get them up. Girls wrestling right now is the fastest growing sport in the country. So, you know, just trying to bring them out. And so.
So that Edmond North deal, is that still considered preseason, or is it?
Yeah, it's a preseason tournament. So this weekend we'll be at UConn. It's a preseason tournament. So preseason tournaments are all the way up until the day before Thanksgiving. With the Edmond Memorial pre-turkey. And then after that, the week after Thanksgiving is when we hit the ground running. We got Choctaw at Choctaw December 3rd.
Okay.
So,
and that'll be the first duel?
Yeah, that's our first duel. And then that weekend we're at Blanchard for our first tournament, our first in-season tournament, December 6th and 7th.
Now, you guys, last year were you kind of like both 6A and 5A?
Yeah,
so is that still true?
Yeah, so for the state tournament, individual state tournament, we are 5A.
Okay.
But for district duels and dual state, we're 6A. Because of my first year as head coach, for the state tournament, we were 6A. And then that next year was the redistricting year, but they go off of what you were that previous year. So we were 6A. So whenever they redistrict next year, hopefully we're 5A. But we'll just have to see how, for district duels, we'll just have to see how things shake out. So. But yeah, it's kind
of strange to understand, but
yeah, a lot of people don't get it, and I'm like, it's okay.
Just tell me when the next meet is.
Yeah.
Noah, do you have any are there any opponents you're aware of that you're looking forward to? You mean, you don't have to know their names, but like a wrestler from a particular school, like you're looking forward to going up against again?
There's nobody really that I can think of. There's a dude from El Reno last year. I feel like I could have done. He beat me, but I feel like I could have done a lot better against
He wasn't a senior?
Well, I'm not sure.
Not sure, okay. I would assume wrestlers take note of that. If someone's what class they're going up against, just to see if they know hey, well, I'm going to go against them next year or something like that. But
sometimes it's good to know, but just try not to do a whole lot of research on my opponents before I go out there. Not to psych yourself out.
But do you watch film? As you get closer to that match, do you watch any film?
I watch matches back of myself. I don't watch any of anybody else. I'll see what they do in the match against me, but it's all just my matches.
It's all about what you can control.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, so any interesting dates? One I'll go ahead and mention, but you feel free to tell me about it. All of them, or as many as you want. But you mentioned Coach Shawver a few minutes ago, and he did tell me last week that you guys were both together going to Louisiana, and you told me about that the year before.
Yeah.
This in January, literally a dual Del City, Midwest City venture. What makes this so desirable? What makes it appealing?
Yeah, so one of my good friends in college, she wrestled. She's from Louisiana. She wrestled on the women's team with me, and we're just trying to find different events out of state and stuff like this, and this tournament is like it, in Louisiana and other surrounding states, like just about anybody and everybody who somebody is going to be at this tournament. So last year, for the UFC fans, Daniel Cormier is the head wrestling coach at Gilroy High School in California. His team was at this tournament.
Wow.
So it's a big time tournament. We'll get some national kids be seen. We'll see some nationally ranked kids at this tournament. And I was looking at it and asked Coach Shawver, hey, would you guys be interested in going? This coach is still looking for other teams. He was like, yeah, we can, let's do it. And so we were like, our kids and a lot of our kids are friends with each other. They talk to each other and hang out, and so even though we're rivals, the kids still hang out, and so we're like, hey, let's do this trip together. And so that's one I'm definitely looking forward to. It'll be a lot of fun for everybody involved. So.
No, you're going to go to that, I assume?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for the Louisiana tournament.
Yeah, well, just is this place in Louisiana, is it close to New Orleans, Baton Rouge?
Yeah, so it's just 20 minutes south of Baton Rouge.
Okay.
So we'll just be right outside of Baton Rouge. We'll leave on Wednesday night, drive through the night, get there Thursday morning, have all Thursday to kind of rest and relax, have a little workout, and then Friday weigh in and get after it.
That is exciting, and I hope you have a really good bus driver driving overnight like that.
Yeah.
All right, any other dates that would be interesting to mention here?
Yeah, so December 17th is our first home duel. It's also our alumni night. And last year we started Midwest City Wrestling Hall of Fame. And so we honored four guys, more than deserving to be in that. And so this year we're looking to honor more guys to be in the second class. It's just something, Midwest City's wrestling history is so rich, and it's like, there's a lot of people that have done a lot for the program, a school that has, 3 national titles. And so, more than enough. And so we have that. We'll be going to the Chickasha High School Classic at the end of January. And then we wrestle Del City January 21st at home, and then we wrestle Carl Albert January 23rd at home. And so those are all big dates for us,
and that'll be after the Louisiana trip?
Yeah, those will both be the week after the Louisiana trip. So just looking forward. I mean, with I think it's really good whenever all 3 Mid-Del schools compete against each other.
Yep, sure.
Win, lose, whatever it is, I think it's good for the community. It just brings people together and gets to watch the athletes and, them go out there and leave it all on the mat. So.
All right, yeah, for sure. Know any particular matches or destinations? We mentioned Louisiana. Anything else you're looking forward to?
The Chickasha tournament's usually a pretty fun tournament every year. Always look forward to it. Let me see. I'm excited for regionals this year. I'm ready to finally make it to state, and I'm planning on getting on the podium at state, so I'm pretty excited for that one too. I'm just ready to go out there and compete.
All right. Well, we're happy you're doing that, and we wish you nothing but the best, Coach. Thanks again for coming on.
Glad to be here.
And it was great to catch up with you about an exciting wrestling season coming up for you. All right. So appreciate all the coaches and athletes who came today, and just to remind you again, this Friday, Midwest City will be at Duncan for football, and then Carl Albert and Del City will have senior nights. All these games will be on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Del City playing for a district title, Midwest City playing for hopefully a 3 seed on the Oklahoma Sports Network. So I want to thank again Alicia for coming back. I had to beg her to come back, but she did come back. And Dedrick for going back and running camera, but he did a good job last week as a producer. So thank you to everyone else who participated. We'll be back on next week talking playoff football, and it'll be the Middle Coaches Show right here at the Brick Brewery on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.